Alright, so, hey, what's up, everybody? It's youtube.com/Joe Cronin Show, RageNetRadio.com. I'm here with Chris Tosevich again. Our last episode was, we were talking about the Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family and all that crap. And tonight was supposed to be about TNA versus WWE, which it still is going to be about that, and we're going to get into that a little bit in our 15-minute podcast here. But before we do that, we have to talk about what happened today, or what happened last night. Kurt Angle arrested after last night's TNA Impact taping, and you can see the mugshot all over the place now. And this, I believe, is like his fifth time or something. This is like his, I think it's fifth or sixth time being arrested for DWI. So this comes from WrestlingInc.com, where I picked it up. Kurt Angle was arrested for DWI following last night's Impact Wrestling taping in Wise County, Texas. It is his fourth alcohol-related arrest in 6 years. That's where the 6 years is. In 6 years. That's like crazy.
Yeah, that is.
He was released on $2,000 bond. No further details available. Dayton Jenkins and Vertbreaker contributed to that article on WrestlingInc.com. Raj Giri, again, of course, posting all that stuff on his Twitter. So, yeah.
First of all, does Kurt Angle have any stock in the company, or is he just under contract?
He's under contract, and I don't think he has stock in the company.
Okay. It just doesn't sound like Dixie Carter gives a shit, because he's Kurt Angle. I mean, he's automatic money, and he's one of the biggest stars they're ever going to have.
I think the TNA is, like, fixated on that, even if, whether that star is helping TNA or not. All TNA and all Dixie Carter sees is this guy's a star somehow, and we're keeping him no matter what.
Yeah, I mean,
why
even
is
in
Hogan
the ring, even in the ring, oh, Hogan. But back to someone who matters, back to Angle. Even in the ring, he's not great anymore. I mean, maybe he is like RVD, where he's just in TNA, so he doesn't care. But he's not putting on 5-star matches anymore, and it doesn't matter because he's just a name. It's like when you go to an indie show in your local gym, and it's like, oh yeah, we got Brooklyn Brawler. Well, it doesn't fucking matter that Brooklyn Brawler can't even walk. He's Brooklyn Brawler, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I think I think that Kurt Angle could have that. You know who I think this is, and this is, maybe you've thought of this, and maybe some other people have too, but I really, instead of Sting, would like to see Kurt Angle come back to the WWE to wrestle The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Agree. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome, and I think he could still have a couple of those big matches in WWE, which is what I think it would. Believe it or not, it's like he went to TNA to take it easy on himself, but in actuality, he's wrestling just as much. Where
right.
I think now he could go back to WWE and say, hey, listen, I'll be on the mic every Monday Night Raw, but we'll wait for the pay-per-view for me to wrestle. You know?
Right. Plus he went to TNA to take it easy, but then it started happening where WWE changed their style up a little bit, which is why Jericho was willing to go back, because Jericho is putting on matches, but you know he's not really breaking his back. He's not working too hard. Even in his great matches against Punk, it wasn't amazing, crazy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys can follow me on Twitter, at Joe Cronin Show. I just made the damn Twitter thing like 3 weeks ago finally or something like that. And everybody was like, on Twitter. And then I made a Twitter, and then none of those people that wanted to follow me fucking followed me yet. What the fuck is that about? Anyway, so yeah, you're right. And it's an easier schedule. WWE's different now. You can they don't beat you to the ground. I think they're starting to develop what you would expect, which is, newer talent, you're going to be expected to always be there and pushing it. But once you start to have some carte blanche or whatever, they will not kill you and bury you like they would years ago. That's,
right.
I mean,
exactly.
That's one of the perks of whatever era we're in. I don't know. Well, that's one of the perks of a company changing from going public, and then now also, it's like it's not just Vince McMahon says this. It's the network now. There's stockholders. There's, all these different pieces that Vince has to go up against to get his way and to do certain things. Where back in 1998 it was, damn it, go out there and do the X or whatever, and that was it.
Yeah, seriously.
Which is it actually was amazing that it was that gung-ho. The company was that big in 1997, 97, 98, and it was that gung-ho. Like,
well, they were scared shitless of losing all their fans to ECW.
Right, yeah. And I don't think that WWE has anything close to what it did in 1997 when, like, you know, Shawn Michaels basically was running the show with the Clique. You know, I mean, they were really, I mean, it was almost like the Mafia running, you know, was running WWE and influencing Vince.
Well, what changed is they finally voted in a mafioso on purpose with Triple H. They were like, all right, fine. If we're going to have some guy running the show, we're going to make it obvious. We're going to give him a title and a job. You know, we're not going to just have an actual wrestler, like, pretending that he's a wrestler when he's really running the show, you know?
Right. And I think Triple H has done a good job of sitting back and, you know, evaluating talent and stuff. Like, if he was Kevin Nash, like, he'd still be out there in the ring.
God.
You know, he'd be masturbating in the back, waiting to have another match that night.
Like Kevin Nash tried to do.
Right, exactly, yeah. All right, so there you go. Kurt Angle arrested again. You know, what the fuck, Kurt? And you know what? The part of this actually goes to, we talked about the workload that Kurt Angle wanted going to TNA. At the time, it was, hey, we'll just go down to Florida, and, you know, we'll get a condo or a house, and we'll just we walk down to the arena, we wrestle, and we go home. And every day is that. And now it's like, you know, there's no more Impact Zone right now. They don't have the studio, so it's travel time again. So, and Kurt Angle gets himself into this trouble when he's on the road for the most part.
Exactly. Yeah.
When
he can't just stumble home from the bar, he actually has to drive himself.
Yeah, and it's like you can tell it's the repetitiveness that gets to him. And I don't know, this probably, who knows if this is related, but I worked at a place where I went in, clocked in, worked the phones every day, and I started drinking in the car at breaks, and I started drinking all the time. And I'm telling you, this place like killed me almost, because I don't do that any other time. But when you're in that type of job and repetitiveness, you just start to look for, I don't know what it was, but I don't do that now. But I could see getting caught up in it, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why he doesn't just go to do what Jericho does. You know, wrestle a quarter of the year or half a year and get paid even more than you get paid in TNA.
Right, exactly. Plus with Jericho, I mean, he's doing it right. He's doing it the way that The Rock was pretending to or claiming to the entire time.
Yeah.
I think if Jericho didn't come back at the same time The Rock did, it wouldn't have been as apparent that The Rock was just being a little bitch and only showing up twice a year. Because Jericho showed up, he was supposed to be part-time, but it seemed like he was always on TV, even though he wasn't. Just because he was doing like a quarter of the year instead of just like 3 shows per period, you know?
That's the thing. And The Rock is working a lot too, but yeah, Jericho is literally like, all right, I'm on a plane to go with Fozzy now for 3 weeks.
Yep.
You know, and then he's back in the WWE again, you know?
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. Or he stopped off to do an audition taping somewhere, and then he came right back. I mean, the guy is nonstop. He's working 300 and whatever days a year.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, we talked about Kurt Angle. I think that was it. I mean, we had that news on Angle, and I don't know what people think about it. Let me read some comments. Here we go. As much as I rag, and this is from the People's Attitude 2.0, as much as I rag on TNA, I've always said I don't want anything bad to happen to their talent. It saddens me that Kurt Angle has these kind of things happen over and over again. It goes to show you that he's human. Well, no shit. I mean, like, he's not just human. He's fucked up. You know, something's happening here. Just like the rest of us. But the 4th offense is going far beyond human. Okay, there he goes. A first DUI offense is a cause for alarm. 2nd or 3rd is a signal of a bad problem. A 4th, you're just straight up fucking retarded.
Especially within 6 years.
Right? And you're rich. I mean, get a limo. Get a cab.
For real.
Oh, man. Get a freaking cab. Someone else wrote, still the GOAT. And then someone wrote, Daniel Bryan is the GOAT. Angle's the Olympic gold medalist. All right. He's like, someone else wrote, not our Olympic hero. Oh, man. I agree, TNA was an awful show. Still, there's no reason to drink. Can he legally claim his body was hacked and it wasn't him who was driving? What? Only if he has a copy of his TNA contract in his pocket. Then someone else wrote, only if he's a robot. And then someone says, he is the wrestling machine. And then someone said, no, that's Josie, the black guy who attacked Randy Orton. Have you seen the video?
Did you read any of his interviews when he was selling his, like, weird powdered food or whatever the fuck it was? Or his,
no.
Kurt Angle was selling these, like, breakfast bars or protein bars or powder or whatever it was, and he was claiming that, like, this was the way to be a true athlete and, like, there was nothing bad in them. And they had some, like, weird, like supplement in them that he was going like apeshit about, and every interview, people like during that 6-month span, people would be like, "So, Kurt Angle, how do you feel about the upcoming pay-per-view?" And he'd be like, "Well, my breakfast bars are pretty tasty, if that's what you want to talk about."
Cocaine.
He was like a maniac. Yeah, he was saying that they were like a stimulant and they would get you like all so full of pep and shit. It's like, dude, no.
Oh wow.
It's like one step away from selling magnets, you know?
He probably he probably was on them. He was all hyped up. Like,
yeah.
Hey Kurt, so what do you think about your match tonight? I get the power. What's that? I'm a gold medal. You want to see my gold medal? All right. But did you see that interview with the black guy from Africa who attacked Orton?
Yeah.
Like
I did.
What does he say? I'm shining. I'm surviving. The best part was when he was like, "I'm after that briefcase, Randy Orton. I'm after that."
I remember on Reddit, everyone was talking about how like, oh, this guy's probably trying to make a name for himself, or he's probably trying to like, you know, promote himself in his own indie fed, or he's doing this or that.
Right.
No, this guy's just batshit nuts. He's just a fucking crazy guy. There's no rhyme or reason to what he's doing.
Now, years ago, I was making videos on YouTube about John Cena. I was going to do this. I only did 2 of them, but I was going to make a video like every fucking day about like cut promos on John Cena every day and just put them on YouTube. I was planning this whole fucking thing out. I was doing push-ups in my house, and at the time I was actually starting to get muscles and stuff, and I was skinnier, and this was only like 2009. And I mean, I was cutting promos in the closet, like pretending that John Cena knew me in school or picked on my brother or something. And I was like drinking beers and like spitting the beer out at the camera. I was all kinds of stupid shit. And that's what this reminded me of. The only thing was I wouldn't go in the ring and try to assault John Cena.
Well, actually, you know
unless
what?
he thinks it's real.
The dedication that you had almost justifies it, to where if this guy had a YouTube channel and was constantly cutting promos on Randy Orton, saying he was gonna I'm gonna make sure you never have kids again and crazy shit like that, and then he runs in and gives him the low blow, and in retrospect we can look back, that would have been amazing.
Well, see, then he should have seen it coming, Randy. They should have noticed this is the guy on YouTube. Well, see, what I would do is I would cut all those promos on YouTube and wait till it gets blown up, till like the universe knows about it. You know, like there's this guy cutting these promos and like you can't be denied. And you go to the event and you yell at Cena and everyone, you know, people in the crowd recognize you. You're that big, you know. Yeah, imagine that, like that.
You're yelling, "My bicep aches for Randy's nuts."
Yeah. What are you gonna do, Cena? What are you gonna do? You're the WWE champion. Let me tell you something, Cena. Let me tell you something. We all know how this is gonna begin. But we have no idea what's going to happen in the middle of the story, do we, Cena? You don't know, I don't know. Nobody here knows what's going to happen in the middle of this book and this tale we're going to tell. But let me tell you how it's going to end. It's going to end with you in the middle of the mat, looking up at the ceiling. And you're going to lift your neck, your swollen, aching neck up slightly off the mat, and out of the corner of your eye, you're going to see me in the corner lifting up the WWE Championship, and then you're going to just drop your neck back that 2 inches back down to the mat, and you're going to realize you lost. And that's the end of the story, Cena. You're a loser. Like, something like that, you know what I mean? And you just cut those promos, whatever it is, and then, you know, you blow up. But you don't
How terrible would it be if you did try to act on that and run in the ring after all those promos and John Cena sees you coming and just clocks you and you knock you out cold?
Knock you out. Well, then it would be funny and you'd go on to be some YouTube, you know, comedic joke. You'd probably end up on Tosh. Right, you'd end up on Tosh.0.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
In the redemption video. And so Tosh would be like, well, you punched me in the face this time and you get your redemption, but then you kick him in the nuts and he doesn't know about it.
I would like to see this guy get a redemption, to be honest.
You're right. You know what? I can see it happening. Really now.
How do we get him on the show?
I'm going to look for him. I don't know where he's from. He's the wrestling machine. I know that.
Yeah.
I like how his name is like the generic name in like the WWE video game that you can make your guy. So the announcer says the name. I'm going to make you know, everyone's making online characters of Josie now, like the wrestling machine, because it's in the game. I know wrestling machine is the name. All right. Anyway, that's it. That's all we got. We'll get into TNA versus WWE in the next video, I think. Chris Tosevich, thanks for stopping by. I'm Joe Cronin. We'll see you later.